Today, I'm going to be sharing with you information about planting garlic. You can plant garlic in the Pacific Northwest anytime between September and November. And by doing that, you have the garlic bulbs and, the cloves send out little roots at the base and they grow over the winter. And sometime around late February, early March, they start to send up shoots from that clove. I often choose October the 15th because it helps me to remember. And I separate the cloves from the bulb the night before. So I'll get bulbs that I harvested in July and I start to break them apart. If they don't come apart easily, I use a letter opener to just get down in between them and start the first one to open it. And then the others break off more easily. So this particular bulb only had 3 cloves, but they're fat cloves. And that's what I do is find the biggest, fattest cloves in my collection. So each year I plant 190 cloves. And then in July when I harvest them, I select the biggest bulbs to select the biggest cloves to plant the following October. So when I'm planting, I plant them inches apart. I go into my stash and I find a stick and I mark it off in 4-inch segments. I'm just going to tilt my screen a little bit. So I have a pot of dirt here, a pot of soil, and I'm going to put this down beside it. And you can see the 4 inches. This is a pretend bed that's in the garden. So once I've got the stick laid down, I take my shovel. This is my little indoor shovel, and separate a row of soil and then start to do my planting. So every 4 inches. So there's my marker. Every 4 inches, I'm twisting a garlic clove into the soil. And then what I do is backfill to cover it. And I would cover it so about another 1 to 2 inches above the tip of this clove that's gone into the soil. And then I back up 4 to 6 inches. And once again, dig a little ditch and then plant the next cloves using the guideline. After a while, I don't even need the guideline. I've got it down to knowing exactly how far apart these are. And then again to backfill. The type of soil is just ordinary garden soil that's been enriched with compost. And sometimes I add a bit of lime. So if the pH tests less than 6 pH, I add a bit of lime to bring it up to 6. I could also use wood ashes, but lime works just fine. And I don't fertilize at that time. I don't fertilize until it starts to spring up in the spring, and then I side dress. So I would, as the plant has started growing, I would just dig alongside of it and sprinkle in some organic fertilizer and scratch it in all along the row. And that would be the fertilizer that it would get, but not until springtime. Another thing that I do is rotate the bed that I plant in. So this year I'm planting in this bed, and then the following year I would move the bed over. And then the third year, once again, a different location. And it wouldn't be until the 4th year that I would replant in the first section. And the reason for that is there are infections that get into the soil There's things like decay that can attack the garlic cloves, black spot, rust. And if you have a new patch each year, you're not going to get that. After that, it's been planted, then I mulch. So when the leaves start falling, which is going to be soon now, I throw the leaves onto the lawn and mow them over. And then I take those mowings and just sprinkle them onto the soil to a depth of about 4 inches on top of that. And over the winter, it compresses with the rain, and it actually makes a mat that the cloves can grow through, but weeds will not germinate. So it's a way of stopping weeds, and it also conserves moisture all the way up until next July, just by putting a 4-inch mulch on. So something that I use is the leaves from an oak tree or the needles from a pine tree. And they just layer there, they're all mixed up, and they do an excellent job of mulching. And then next July, I harvest. And that would be a time when I would do another presentation to show you how to do that. Are there any questions so far?
You can unmute yourself. And Harry, I have a question for you. When you're peeling the garlic, do you peel off the little silver skin on the outside to get down to the clove, or do you leave that on there?
Just leave it on. Yeah, we just leave it on. This is not going to harm it in any way. The roots are going to come out at the base. So the base has been broken off of the former base. And so now this part has been exposed. That's where the roots are going to come out. And this is actually a protection for the clove. So as you're twisting it down into the soil, it's protecting it from any little rock that might scratch it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Okay.
Does it matter what kind of garlic you use, or is there one kind of garlic who grows better than the other?
Well, I usually grow Russian red because it is famous for being able to grow over the winter and not get diseases and withstand rain. And this year has been one of the years where we've had a lot of rain, and my garlic came through wonderfully well. So mostly Russian red that I grow. I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, there is a difference in the garlic cloves.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, thank you for the excellent presentation. Look forward to the next one.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mary.